Okay. I feel like I need to put the little Radish King behind the intro thing so it doesn't just show up like that. All right. Turnip King. Why do I always get it wrong? Terrible. The king. Anyway, hello everybody. We're just randomly looking at documents. All right, here we go. So I think the main goal for today is step 1, figure out what I need to do. Step 2, actually do it. Or maybe not even. I'm kind of like forgetting everything that we've updated. So I really think I want to reassess everything and then try to make sure everything is like we know exactly what's going into this update for the next update for Armies Against Entropy. And then after we know what we're doing, just tackling what needs to be done. So figuring it out arguably is probably not going to be the most interesting content ever, but it kind of just needs to be done at this point. And then after that, if, you know, depending on what we need to do, because I know a lot of it's rulebook editing, which is just going to be boring. But then again, it's mostly just like art. It's like reorganizing everything at this point. There might be some writing involved, and that's just whatever. So we'll try that, and then we'll try to get all this figured out, and then if everything's if that ends up being boring, we'll just draw some art as per usual. So I think that's the plan. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. I'm trying to think if there's anything in here that we forgot to account for, right? So we did add draw 2, play 2, which means we're changing that. You're attacking, attack roll for attacking and destroying land under structure. That's very important. Deck building is being added. I guess we don't have exactly what the old god deck is doing, which we'll need to make sure we figure out that. This is more like player deck building. I guess it kind of has it, right? It's technically... This actually might not be right. We'll have to go in there and take a look at that, but... Let's see. What else do we change? The God of Abundance is now renamed to a Devotion. What's up? I'm gonna call you Nate. How you been? How's your day been? My day has been good. It's just started, really. How's your day been? I just trying to get some work done, trying to figure out where I was. I kind of took a bit of a break from the project because I was gone for a week, and then now I'm just kind of reassessing, trying to figure out what the heck I'm even doing. What am I doing with my life? But yeah, welcome in. I don't think I've seen you before. Well, it does say first message, so I'd assume I haven't, unless you've been lurking. Yeah, we're working on my my co-op TCG. So I probably shouldn't be in the art category. I don't know if I probably will do art at some point, but right now that is not what I'm doing. It's mostly trying to figure stuff out, so Yeah, these are a bunch of the cards. If you haven't seen it before. I guess I should be in the game dev category. It's not really like a board game development category, but here we are. Yeah, what brings you into our humble stream? I say our, and it's just, you know, mine, but you know. Let's see, what else we got? We got, all right, so we did, I really do need to just write up the patch notes because a lot of this is just like crossed off stuff at this point. There's a lot of clarity updates. I am bored. That's a very fair reason to be here. Well, welcome. Hopefully I can cure you of your boredom. Probably not. We're mostly just talking about stuff, but you into game design stuff, or are you just hopping along different streams? Like I said, I know I was in the art category. I don't think I'm drawing today. At least not currently. I mean, probably not for like an hour. Let's see. More clarity stuff. Yeah, most of this is just clarity that we've worked on, and then I guess the Old Gods got a bunch of different updates. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to go through this. This is like a massive update at this point. A lot of like art stuff. I guess something I don't have on here is spell cost, right? Spells now have a cost. Art mostly, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, yeah, unfortunately I miscategorized myself here today. But yeah, normally I'll do like a lot of art drawing, but I do need to kind of figure out where I'm at. Some of it might just be working on the rule book, because I do have a whole rule book that needs tweaking, and a lot of that is like drawing art or graphic design, I suppose. But yeah. Let me see here. Let me pull up the rule book. We got a bunch of different pages to work on. Technically I need to work on. Actually, let's just write this down, right? Because here's the stuff that needs to be added. We need to add spell costs, which should be under effects. We need to, which should look something like this. It probably should replace the base effects here, but then I need this to go somewhere. So organizing that's going to be kind of annoying. These icons can probably go somewhere else, maybe. I know we're also reworking page 4. And then we have a 4.5. I'm trying to remember why I did this in the first place. Oh, I guess What did we add? Oh, right. So the other thing is the old gods have card draw icons now. Which is important to add. They basically have they used to just have words on the cards, but now they have like these that indicate how many cards they draw. Which along those lines, I need to mention that land cards, or I guess any card with card draw does not draw cards when first played. There's going to be a better way to word that, but that is an important factor for sure. What else we got? Trying to remember. I guess we need to update the... Oh, this is literally in the wrong document. We don't need that one open. We need to talk about... Yeah, so basically any land card, when it's drawn, technically, like, because land ends up drawing more cards, so we really don't want it to draw more cards on being drawn, because then it just ends up cyclically drawing more cards, which could just end up destroying the player. So we don't really want that. What else do we add? Well, like I said, I guess we need the rule for attacking and destroying structures. We need something for draw 2, play 2, which should be... I guess we gotta look at, see what the rule book actually looks like as far as card draw rules. I guess there's a few things that need to be adjusted there, I believe. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what page it actually is. I might just have to open up like half of them here. I think I explain all the what the elements of a card is first, and then I go into actually explaining the card. So let's just look at that. Setup. So yeah, I don't really... Oh, someone's at their window. Oh wait, gotta aim it at her. Are you running away? Oh, come on. Well, never mind. No cat for us. She's got a mind of her own. Okay, yeah, so I think this is, yeah, the current player will draw a single card from their deck. Keep in mind, some may allow to draw additional cards. So this should say 2 cards. Mulligan, reshuffling 1 time if you should mulligan or not. Well, okay, we already... This rule also changes. Yeah. So along with draw 2, play 2, you can also you can only play I guess like the restriction That is definitely not how you spell restriction. Restriction for card type is removed. Because originally you could only play one of each type of cards per turn. So now we need to remove that. Yo, what's up, Thunder? A cat shall do as a cat does. Good morning. How's it been? Hope winter has been treating you well. Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a while. How you doing? Yeah, it's been good. I actually got a lot of work done on the game. You know, things are looking good. Added a bunch of cards. We got a bunch of new you know, a bunch of new cards. So that's fun. Spells have costs now. A lot of interesting stuff going on. Adding more old god cards. Probably the coolest thing to happen to me is hey, no scratching the carpet. What do you think you're doing, huh? She wants to play. But yeah, the coolest thing to happen is, and it should probably be coming out today or tomorrow would be my guess, but I got invited to make a game for Blackthorn Prod's YouTube channel. If you've ever heard of them, big game design, typically video game stuff. I think I'm the first board game person to be invited to their YouTube channel, but they've got like 500,000 subscribers and typically get, you know, around that much to like 1 million views per video. So that should be a pretty good exposure. So that should be coming out in a day or two. I would expect. I could be wrong, but that's probably the most exciting thing. That'd be amazing exposure. Yeah, no, I'm very excited about it. We'll see how it goes. I also got to get my own video out, but yeah, that kind of took precedent. I'm pretty close to being done with my current one, but I'm kind of not sure how I feel about it. It's I don't know if it's gonna be interesting to people who don't understand the game, but I think I'm starting to like realize the trend in my videos and like what actually is good, like what's working. So I think at this point I can kind of redirect in that direction. Congratulations, thank you, I really appreciate it. But yeah, right now we're kind of just going over what needs work. I do have to work on the rule book, which is a notoriously not fun thing to watch. But that said, it might just have to be done because I think it's the only thing really holding the game back from being updated at this point. So yeah. So yeah, spell costs, old gods, drawing icons need to be added. Any card with card draw does not draw cards when first play. Oh yeah. I don't know why this is 2 sentences. That was throwing me off. Rule for attacking land, draw 2, play 2, restrictions remove. We need deck building. It can be added now. That's looking crisp. I think you're well on your way. Yeah, the so the book, like I had the whole, let me see if I can, let me pull up the full rule book. For some reason the PDF always lags and I'm like, I don't understand why you're so slow, but I guess it's maybe just because it's made out of images and it's like loading them or whatever. So let's hope this doesn't crash my computer. See, it's so slow. I don't know why. Lag. I was going to show the thing, but yeah, I'm really happy with how it looks, but it needs to be like kind of get overhauled, unfortunately, which means I'm going to have to like rework everything. So hopefully that will be okay, but there we go. Still lagging. Like of all things, you don't think a PDF viewer would lag, but you know. Here we are. Close. Okay, yeah, here we are. So yeah, this is what the book looks like right now. Oh, what? She's just like crying in the other room. She really wants to play. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's looking, especially some of these sections that have, yeah, like, you know, it looks like a legit book. And I tried to like illustrate it as much as I could. But yeah, it kind of needs a slight overhaul with how a lot of the stuff is changing. I also don't understand why these like pages look like they're almost like slightly transparent. Gladiator, yo! What's up, man? Got a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. How you doing? But yeah, no, just been just trying to figure out what I need to do with the rulebook here. We also could just probably work on art, but I'm good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I kind of actually want to, let me open up something here. I was just saying that I'm gonna be featured in a Blackthorn Prod video, and I don't know if that's coming out today or tomorrow or when, at what time it's coming out, but I kind of want to have it here because if it comes out, I am watching it live. That is what's happening. That will be our content, but I don't know if that's coming out anytime soon or what, but there we go. Any hoodles, as they say. Yeah, we got to add deck building to the rules. I think that's the main stuff. Do old gods need to be explained more? I don't think so. You know, technically I don't explain base effects for old gods, but I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, but it probably should be said. And if I have to move base effect to another section, maybe I just need to do that. Where's my thing here? Can you link to where the video would be? I don't know the channel. Yeah, let's see. I'll definitely share it on like Discord and all that, but yeah, I don't know if it, I know like some, so the idea is like it's like it's that YouTube channel. The idea is that it's a so the biggest thing they do is like their pass the game challenge thing, where they like someone makes a game and then they pass it from one dev to another. But the one I'm doing is like their engine battle series where they basically have a person with each different game engine make a game in like 1 hour and then a game in 24 hours. It's a lot like, so it's like, sorry, actually, wait, no, it's one people. Here we go. So it's like this video here. So where they basically, you know, one person, they had a 10-minute one before. They got rid of like the make a game in 10 minutes. That's done. But they're doing, so like a dev with Unity, a dev with Godot, and a dev with Unreal make a game. And they, you know, each one of them makes one in an hour, and then each one of them makes one in 24 hours. I was, you know, obviously I don't do digital games. Yeah, 1 second, 10 seconds, 100-second games. Nothing happens, exactly. Yeah, 10 minutes was too quick, and they decided to remove that from their newer ones. The theme is basically the same. It's survival horror instead of horror. But, you know, here we are. But yeah, they added me in, which I'm a board game dev, so I'm representing, you know, board games. So that was kind of cool. I think it's the first time they've actually had a board game developer on the channel, which I think is pretty rad. They also show long development of games too. I'll have to check them out. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah, they had one where they had like 100 devs work on a game, which was kind of crazy. It was kind of a cluster, but it was still cool in the end. But yeah, they got cool game development stuff. But yeah, it'll be good exposure for me. And their editor, I don't know if you've seen Dual Wielded stuff, Tice. He contacted me to get me here. Because the funny thing is, he, you look at this video, this is like their first engine battle one, and you can find him here. And he's like, I wouldn't mind seeing someone represent border card games in a future episode. And that was a year ago before I knew him, which is kind of funny. So I thought that was fun. Ben, he's like their editor now, so it's like it all came together. So yeah, I made 2 games in 48 hours, which was kind of crazy. But yeah, it was a fun thing to work on, and I'm really proud of my devlogs for it, my section of the video. So it'll be pretty cool to see that when it comes out. Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, I guess we don't have a thing for base effects for the old god. Let's see. So yeah, we're basically working on pages 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 4.5 because I had to add a page in between. So we may have to add another page in between. Oh, it's gonna get complicated. That is the problem with making the rulebook look so nice midway through development, is that now I have to like rework everything. But at least I guess it's only the middle stuff, and then arguably the last page, which is still going to be under construction more or less. And then after it's kind of revised, I think this will still be at the end of the thing because it's kind of like extra information anyway, but Beast with a hard hat, yeah. Actually, I'll show you something fun too. Actually, I need to save this hard hat as like an extra, because I have like I have all my like little people in a folder, and then I have like a thing for props. Hard hat. In case I need it for any other things, I save like all the different weapons and all that stuff in their own thing, so I can just easily access it again rather than having to like recreate everything. But for this latest video, I made Beats as a cowboy. Which I thought was fun, because I do a one of the 24-hour game is like a cowboy horror game, kind of like ba-da-da-da-da-derp. I'm assuming that's what that was. Ba-da-da-da der-da-derp. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But yeah, it's kind of like Hunt Showdown sort of theme, where it's like, you know, cowboys and monsters. That one was Cowboy Bebop. Ah, Beat Bop. Gotcha. But yeah, anyway, there he is. There's Beats. There's me. I'm tired. Me too, man. Me too. Although I finally just kind of like slept in a bit and like am less exhausted, because I was basically went from like a 48-hour game jam more or less directly going into working on editing of the video. It's pretty exhausted, but I'm pretty happy with the result, so I can't even be mad. So yeah, basically I got to rework all this. I think the strat is going to be moving base effects to a separate page. Oof. It would probably have to be moved here, but the problem is yeah, getting this organized is going to be an absolute pain. I probably should just go ahead and start with this, but there probably is a good chance I have to make like a page 3.5 just for like a base effect, but which seems like a lot of extra stuff for no reason, but it should be okay, I think. But I bet it helps to find things you've missed or need to change / add. Yeah. And the nice part is I did make this like modular, so I can just take like each section and move it around rather than having to, you know, redo all of it. But yeah. Old mechanics you forgot to write out. Yeah, I probably actually do need to just do a pass on the entire thing too. Just like reread everything. I do need to remove this. This is Do I say... Oh, yeah. Well, I probably don't even remove it. I'll probably just reword it slightly. It looks nice, so... Okay, yeah, I think the goal here is probably adding an additional page for page 3. Spell costs. Old God icons. That one we'll probably do first, because we'll just tackle the card anatomy, because I think that's probably important. And then, this one I gotta figure out where to put. Everything else... I think I know where to put. So we need to figure out somewhere where rule for attacking structures under land. That's going to be the most confusing one. Because basically, originally any monster that could attack land... Well, let's back up a second. Let me open tabletop, just so we can have some examples whenever we need it. Of course, it's taking a second to load. This is gonna be like a 2-second explanation for something that I'm taking way too long to boot up, but it's okay. It'll just be nice to have this open in case we need it. I guess I could show you my other games that I made too real quick if you want to see them, but the ones I made for the I did that again, a Blackthorn prod video. We're just gonna move past that. Anyway, my brain's just too dyslexic. I can't even say words correctly. So if you want to put a structure, or if you want to place a structure, it has to go on top of a land. But the problem is if an enemy could attack a land first, it could kill the land and the structure would be left there, right? Which doesn't really make sense, because then you're like, well, do I have to put a land underneath it or what? So now the rule is kind of more brutal. If the land dies, then so does the structure. But I have to add that into the game. So, anyway, that's the gist of it. But the question is where to add that in the rules. It's probably... It's probably here somewhere. Maybe not. Structures played. I want to make the structure unactive until there's a land underneath it. That is actually a pretty great idea. Because we actually have like disabling as like a proper term now. Which is, I guess, maybe something that should be included into the game is a list of terms. It depends on how like brutal we want the game to be. Which arguably I don't want it to be like super brutal. I think it's like kind of more of like a casual game. And it's already currently like way more difficult. Yeah, glad to brainstorm. Yeah, that'll definitely. I got to think about it. But that could be a really good idea. Especially now that disabling is like a mechanic. Which, yeah, list of terms would probably be a good thing to add to the rule book. And just explain them, because most of them are listed in icon form, but having some additional like information that explains any terms that might be confusing, I think is a you know, a good idea. But yeah, that's definitely something I'll have to consider. It's a good idea. If either way, I guess, like, it has to be added to the thing. It has to be added to the book, which depending on like the game balance, whether it's too hard or too easy, we could swap that out and change a back of the book reference. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like just a list of terms, you know. But yeah, figuring out where this goes is a good question, because either it has to go, I guess it would have to go here, right? Because it tells structures must be placed on lands. Each land you control, the rule does not apply to heroes or any other type of card. So maybe let me go back and look at the next page too, because I want to just double check. Page 8. I could shrink some of this and put it in there, maybe. Like these two could be shrunken. But also maybe not. It might have to be another page sort of thing. It probably is easiest to just add more pages and then organize it, and then maybe eventually just like reorganize some of the stuff. But it's kind of hard to know how much space it's going to take up before I actually make it, you know, especially trying to fit it in now. You may play any number of cards at any time. Some of this could maybe be reorganized, but I think actually doing... Let me read this for a second. The current player will draw a single card from their deck, which that's going to be changed. That's going to be 2 cards. Keep in mind, you may player play additional cards if for the first turn player cards may mulligan. Okay, I already read that. Play phase. The current player may play cards into the play space from their hand. You may only play 1 land, 1 structure, and 1 hero per turn. That is different now. Yeah, I almost think just reorganizing this into another page, because honestly, spells and being able to play them anytime should probably be up here, and then just restrictions for structure cards maybe should be over here. Yeah, we can reorganize it, I think. So yeah, it's gonna be adding a lot of a lot of pages, I think. Okay, yeah. Let's just do it. Let's start with the what's it called? Start with... God, I have to sneeze. This is not going to happen, though. Nope. Okay. Yeah, let's start with the card anatomy. I do have to admit, making a rule book this fancy at the same time as polishing the game sounds a bit confusing at times. Yeah, it's when I made this, I kind of thought I was closer to the end than I was, but I've also decided that part of my like rules for making this game was not being like making stuff and not being too precious about it, even if that, like, I knew I was gonna have to go back and refactor stuff, even if, you know, it wasn't convenient, right? Because like getting too precious about a lot of your like a lot of game design is, I think, just like is like one of like my like weaknesses, I would say, right? Like I would obsess that like it has to be the final version. Like whatever I'm making has to be the final version. I shouldn't have to you know, work on it again afterward, if that makes sense. But really it just needs to be I just need to not obsess over it, if that makes sense. I feel like I kind of rambled there, but it's easy to get obsessive about like how good something is, so it just makes sense to do it, and then afterward you can go back and fix it if you really need to. Sure, we'll do Umbra just for the fun. We need a card, so we'll download it. But yeah, it definitely is confusing. It's probably not the best way to do it. But I'm trying to not overthink things, I guess, is maybe the biggest thing. I can understand I don't do it, but I can understand. Some of my friends do this same. Yeah. I overthink things and I question myself a lot, and I'm trying not to and just do the thing. And if I have to rework it, that's okay too. You know, that's the idea of it, at least. I'm like bad about having confidence in my decisions, so, and a lot of times like I'm like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be the final thing, there's nothing else gonna be wrong, may as well just whatever, and then it ends up not being the final thing because it's, you know, there's so much more involved in a game, and one change can change just absolutely everything. And so like the idea is that sometimes you're just gonna have to, you know, oh, I guess I gotta add that too, don't I? Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you're just gonna have to rework it, and that just is what it is. You know, so I try not to be too, not to get stuck on things. Hopefully I explained that well. I was like half doing stuff and rambling and whatever at the same time. Anonymous, yo, what's up? It's a full house today. How's everyone doing? How you doing, Aiden? We're doing the super exciting rulebook editing stream that everyone's been waiting for. Good, man. Cool. I'm glad. Did I actually... Wow. I literally perfectly made the card the right size. Look at me go. Okay. I need my drawing tablet. Yeah, we're just working on the rule book. Hopefully, hopefully it's interesting enough. Yeah, just talking about stuff. Just mentioning that that video I've been working on should come out relatively soon for those games I've been making. The Blackthorn Prod one should come out any day now, so that's exciting. I guess this is the only thing that needs to be explained, right? It's the only thing. Oh, I do need to replace... Oh, yeah, that's actually another thing. Let's see. Power level was renamed Strength, and so I do need to replace these cards. Actually, I have to go through the entire rulebook and replace all the cards. Luckily, I think we're like pretty dang close to not adjusting any more rules. So this, in theory, should be the last time we have to actually change any rules. Of course, I say that, and that will probably change, but you know, here we are. Or it's, yeah, power level. Yeah, if y'all have any questions about the game or anything, let me know. I'm just gonna kind of be doing this. Or any questions about game design or anything like that. Are any of y'all working on any games or any cool projects? I know some of you are, but how are they going if you are? And if you want to talk about it. God, I'm getting hungry already. So working on mine, need to start making videos like you, and some of these other developers. Yeah, honestly, it's a lot of work for sure. Making devlogs. But I think it's a good way to promote the game. And you know, it's I think it's worth it. It also, It seems the best way to grow a community around the game. Exactly. Yeah. It's a great way to grow a community, and it's a great way to, honestly, it's good for like self-reflection too. Like you get to see what you did and how you got there. So like cataloging all your process is kind of a good move. I mean, granted, I kind of do that anyway now. Like I do patch notes and stuff like that, but I think it's worth it. Yeah, it's advertisement basically is really what it is. I don't know how I have these open. I don't need them. I'll shoot. I'm deconstructing a tarot card deck from the 80s, trying to make a system light way for me to play with my imagination. Okay, that sounds kind of cool. I can dig that. I always thought tarot cards were cool. Like, as far as, like, I feel like it'd be cool to, yeah, do, like, some sort of mechanics with them, like, in a game. But I don't know anything about them. So. Something I don't know anything about, really. It's short of, like, you know, seeing them in things. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff we need to do here, actually. We need to... Give me a second. All right, so this just needs to be renamed Strength Icon. What else do we need to do? We need to do any of these. Yeah, I guess we need to exchange out the cards here. So we can just, in theory, download some of the other ones and just hit the replace button, which is kind of nice. So we need to go back to our browser, go here. We had Null Sanctum was one of them. Download card, download. And the other was Rift Spawner, download. Cheap viewers. Whatever happened to best viewers? Get ready to get banned. Is there a way to... It's weird that there's no, like, quick report button. You can only ban them. Yeah, whatever. We did it. They're dead. Hawk user. Done. They're gone. They're dead now. All right, we download those cards. We just need to take those and put them. Yeah, so how does that work? How does a tarot card, like, is it like an RPG system, or are you doing like a... Oh wait, you said something and I just didn't read it. Or you just said it, yeah. Yeah, I don't get the hippie mumbo jumbo, but I'm looking at vintage 1983 complete set Tree of Life Kabaka tarot cards. Can't read. Cards. Here's an event. There's a lot of words I'm having trouble reading. Switzerland. Gotcha. Okay. That sounds cool. Yeah, what exactly does a game entail with those? The rules light. You said making a light system way with my imagination. Kind of like a, is it like a tabletop role-playing game kind of deal, or like... That's kind of what it sounds like, but maybe I'm just assuming that, because that is one of the things I make. Less tabletop, more RP. Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I figured. Yeah, I do like the light version of role-playing games, or like very role-play heavy role-playing games. Although I feel like there's a better balance to be found. I mean, I think that was probably evident in a lot of my other videos, but I do need to get to like work on Soul again. Although part of me feels like I need to just like start over again. But I don't know if that's true. Not really start over, but just like kind of start from the beginning and like try to refactor all the correct mechanics and like test each one of them before actually just, you know, assuming it will all work, you know? Because I think that's my biggest problem right now. Okay, so in theory, we can just right-click Null Sanctum, relink file, go into Armies Against Entropy, cards, discards, and click on Null Sanctum, place. Yeah, look at that. The icon is in slightly different position, so we do need to change this. Oops. Yeah, I guess ideally I wouldn't have, you know, made this rule book before knowing all the rules, but yeah, I really thought last update, I'm like, it's gonna be done, and then kind of like, I wouldn't even say it's scope creep, but there's a lot of like features that you just don't think about that the game needs until it just happens. But yeah, no, I definitely need to work on Soul again. It's been too long. I kind of intentionally stopped working on it for a bit to just work on this game because it's a lot easier. It was easier of a scope to like start for my first real like game. But you know, here we are. Did I update the other one? I might have to pull that up too. Yeah, the problem is like making a roleplay heavy game. And I've said this before in my videos, is that the mechanics get in the way of roleplay and vice versa. So getting them to work together is like trying to mix oil and water. It's very, very difficult. But I guess rewarding if you can do it. And there's like certain mechanics I think I've learned maybe since working on it that I would like to implement. Like Blades in the Dark has their flashback mechanic, and I think that's like a great one, and it makes me think like maybe there's more like narrative based things like that that could be used in like a role-playing game design, like basically pretending like you're making a movie essentially, right? Because that's kind of like an interesting concept, right? Where I guess this hasn't changed all that much. Some of the abilities on the cards may have changed, which maybe is worth whatever. Yeah, great. Post too many words together. If you want to see them, they're not art cards, more technical versions of tarot cards. Tree of Life. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'll look it up. So I am curious. Okay. Yeah, I think I see him. Hold on. Maybe? These guys? So what to look on the inside? Interesting. Okay. They said technical. That makes sense. I'd assume this is a reprinting. Interesting. Huh. That is really cool. Have you seen, there's a guy who's doing like a really mathematical spell system for D&D where it's like, like he's reimagining the spell system and like how you would write spells. Because that one's, it's really cool. It's maybe a little mathy for me. But like the way he's been doing it is actually really interesting. There's a guy on YouTube. I keep seeing his shorts pop up. But that's kind of what this is reminding me of slightly. Because like he has different ways of like drawing what the spell type is and that kind of thing. Which is something I feel like I would like to do, is just make a standalone spell system that like tells you how you would write spells, what like components you use to use them, and then like that can be implemented into like any game. I don't know. I have to look it up. I wonder if he's got an idea from the saga of Taint the Evil. I don't know. Let me pull it up for a second. Let me see if I can find him. I thought I subscribed to him, but it might be on my other channel. Give me a second here. I won't be able to see what you're saying. Shorts. Ah, here he is. Okay, I did not subscribe to him. Yeah, he's got like a bunch of different systems. He has different ones for different like types of what's it called? Like types of like there's sorcerer ones and wizard ones and that kind of stuff. This is not the video that I was thinking though. Yeah, like this. Like different spells are written based on where lines are drawn, which is kind of confusing. But I also kind of like the idea that it's kind of confusing. Because like a wizard arguably has to be intelligent, right? So like a confusing... It's based on binary, I think, right? So, I don't know. Kind of interesting. He was a programmer and was able to make spells of the world stronger and better than anyone because he had programmer knowledge. Interesting. But yeah, check this guy out. What's his name? Gorilla of Destiny. Kind of that same sort of feeling. He's got a bunch of shorts. Kind of cool. Kind of a cool system. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna slowly go through and update this book. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. I might need to grab a snack. I am like already hungry. I feel like I said that already. I feel like breakfast never keeps me full. Maybe I'm just not getting enough protein, but I don't know. It like lasts like an hour or two, and then I'm like, all right, I'm hungry again. They also kill him at the beginning to start the series. Crazy. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to check it out. Certainly sounds interesting. Okay, we need... We need this. Card draw. I think I'm just gonna grab the icons and then we'll just say what they do. Like draws from the main deck, draws from the minion deck. Yeah, there's a lot out there like for cool like magic systems and cool like stories and that stuff, and like, man, there's just like there's too much content to consume. And it's like, yeah, that would be cool to watch or read or whatever. And it's like, but there's just like there's just so much to look at. It's overwhelming sometimes to think about. It's like, yeah, I wanna that sounds cool. I want to watch that, read that, whatever. And then it's like, when will I have the time to do that? Now, there's a lot I gotta do. I'm so like, I feel like I'm so behind on stuff. The more I think about stuff, the more behind I feel. Like I really gotta update my website. I've got to, there's like a bunch of 87.84 is the size. I gotta do just like a bunch of like life things, you know, like I gotta go to the dentist and stuff like that. I just need to like reorganize my life here. So like part of this is like, this needs to get done. I've been putting it off for a while. It just needs to get done. Here we are. Oh yeah, I forgot we changed the minion icon. I do like it better. It feels more, I don't know, uniform. Probably did not need to shrink these icons, but you know, here we are. This also is horribly organized. Who made this? Who did this? Who made this game? They clearly didn't know what they were doing. I have to look over your shoulder and yell at the dev team. Hey. Hey, you. Get back here. Get back here. Why do you make this game so bad? Why is it so bad? What do you do? Why do you make it like this? Yeah. 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 It's a cat break. Yeah. Are you purring because you're happy or purring because you're uncomfortable? Mwah. Okay, bye. Okay, now that I'm done being distracted. What in the heck? I just press like some buttons without knowing. There's a ghost in the machine. Okay. This is main deck. I guess I can do some description text here. Draw the number of cards listed from the deck based on the icons shown. Sure. Good enough for me. Actually, no, I want to grab these two. Yeah, this really needs to be reorganized, but it's okay. I would not organize this the way I did if I were to do this again. I'll put it that way. Okay, now in theory we can just save this. I think everything's updated. None of this has changed. Strength. Effective health of the monster, of the card. Monster also is the damage they deal. Base effect, negative defeated effect, positive defeated effect. Monster's attack, card draw. Okay, cool. Done. Save. Cool. Now we just need to go back to here. In theory, we can just re-import Convert to smart object. Relink file. Rulebooks. Art for rulebooks. Old God anatomy. Boop. Oh, that did not work how I expected, but that's okay. That's why, because I remember doing this now. Was it smaller? A smidge, maybe? Yeah, it's within the lines. All right. Rather than replacing it, let's just place it on top so I can scale it appropriately. Rule books. Art. I lost like half my guides here and moved them. That is not what I want to do. There we go. That's about right. Put that there. Delete the old one. We can, in theory, rework this a smidge. Well, I guess this is all that's going on here, so maybe it's not even worth doing. Yeah, maybe just do that, because I don't think there's anything else going on this page, but... Alright, I guess that's page 4. Alright, I will be back in just a second. I'm going to grab a snack and, yeah, I'll be back in, I don't know, a minute. I've returned. Bearing a protein bar and some dried mangoes. trying to think if there's anything else I need to add to here. I guess I need to add the card draw thing. I guess what might be important to do is go into here. We can pull up the this rule book, make any changes to the rules, and then apply them into the thing, because this is just the text essentially. Or I guess the other way around works too, but it's nice to have a text, what's it called? A spell checker, you know? Snacks. Okay. Well, maybe let's pick off some low-hanging fruit here while I snack. Let's do this. The current player may play cards into their play space from their hand. You may only play up to 1 land, 1 structure, 1 hero. That is not true anymore. Should be like you may play 2 of any type of card. Maybe it's not any type, because it's may play 2 of any land, structure, a hero card per turn. You gotta finish rulebook 2. You got like an index to look up key terms quickly, thinking I need to add 1 to the back or something. That's exactly, I was talking about that earlier, actually. That is definitely something I need to do. I don't have the whole heck of a lot of key terms. Sorry, I shouldn't have taken a bite. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing up here? No, that's my food. It's my food. It's my food. Thank you. Yeah, most of my terms have been turned into icons. So like most of them are described at the beginning of the book. Like these sections right. So these are, most of my terms are explained here. But I still have a few extra ones. Like there's not a whole heck of a lot. There's like destroyed, which is pretty obvious, but you know, that's important. Maybe I'll add like a term like scry or mill or that kind of thing. And then disabled is a really important one because it's you know, deactivates a card, so that probably needs to be as a term as well. But yeah, definitely I think just adding one to the back I think is important. I'm probably going to do the same thing with this update. Hopefully my chewing isn't loud. Okay, is this sufficient? Current player may play cards into their play space from their hand. You may play, I guess I should say, nah. You may play 2 of any land, structure, or hero card per turn. What on Tardation are you doing? I was trying to show you. No, come on. She's being very antsy. Being crazy today. She really wants to play. I'm sorry, kitten. What's the temperature out? Cold. I was gonna say I'll open my window, but that's not gonna happen. He does like an open window. Oops. I don't think I even changed that. The only annoying part here is I had, you know, the coloring of the, and formatting of these, which, no. I don't really want to go back and reselect these colors and change the formatting. Which isn't really a big deal, but, you know, here we are. It's the only problem with going into the one book and then editing it and then coming back into here and then whatever. It's fine. I mostly don't play around with the text, so it's all good. Can we get this onto the... Yeah, that'll do. I think I'm gonna add a page 7.5, move all this out of here, move... You may play a spell at any time up here. And then add the destruction of land to the next page, I think is the key there. The nice part with some of these things is I can just take up more space if I really want to. With like these dual halved of the things here, so we'll do that. I did try to like keep a shorter number of pages. Like I tried to condense stuff so the rulebook didn't seem overwhelming to people. And granted, I think it is like 12 or so pages, which is a lot, but it is a lot of graphics, so it's not really as much to read. So I don't know, we'll see. New. We want a letter. Create. That is not it. That is not the dimensions we're looking for. Oh, you want to know why? It was on its side. New. Wait, no, that should have been right. Did I click on the wrong thing? I guess I did. File, save as, rulebook. Nope. Pages. So this should be page 7.5. I don't really like doing that. I will just rename all these pages once I'm done with it, but so I actually say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but for now, until we get to that point of knowing what number of pages we have, we're just going to do it this way. Boom, 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 boom. Dun, dun, bur, dur, bur, dur. Okay. Sorry, I was just double checking something. I really should keep the PDF of the rulebook open because I do need to keep referencing it. Rulebooks. This one. Let's see if it takes forever to load this time. It does not. All right, so we need to... page 7. Okay, now it's lagging. Hold. All right, we're just gonna eat the rest of this while it loads. Actually, I'm gonna throw in my wrapper because it just bothers me having another desk. Okay. I've been using different land cards as the backgrounds. So I just need to find one that I haven't used. Okay, I use desert, I use swamp, I use mountain, I use plains. Desert, swamp, mountain, plains. Sorry if this is headache inducing. Let's do either tundra or river, I think. Because forest card doesn't look that good without the... We'll do tundra, I guess. Well, this doesn't really look that great without the... You know, we might just expand it all the way and do that. What was the what did I do here? Okay, I did some corrective whatever, and then 38%. It might be a little bit different here because no, that works. Okay. Stick this one between page 7 and page 8. And then we move a bunch of these modules here. Yeah, like I said, I made sure all these were in their own thing. So we want to keep card placement. I think unit spawn and structures both go to the next page. And then spells stay. Can I not cut these? I just have to copy them and then delete. Okay. These will go here. I also feel like the white background is just too much. Like it just doesn't look good. I don't know, hard to say. It was probably fine, but that'll go there. Then I can delete these from there. Spells can move up here. Oop, not that. Spells can move up here. This maybe can be done like this. I'm not 100% certain on that, but yeah, it looks good. Good enough for me. Maybe I'll increase the size of those cards too, but problem is that's the entire page. I don't think I need to add more here, so maybe I'll have to figure out stuff to add. It's probably okay if the page ends just blank like this, but ideally I'd have more, you know? Especially if it's like a continued page. So we'll have to come back to that. I might want to adjustments, hue and saturation, just desaturate this just a smidge. There we go. I honestly think the unit spawn probably goes down here. And then we need to explain structure deaths. It's kind of annoying because I used to have a guide set up here. New guide layout. Oh, I guess I could have saved it. Okay, I should do that. Let's what it was like 4x4, and then there was margins. What's the no one knows margins of a piece of paper off the top of their head, huh? I want to say it's like 150. $250 to $300. What is? Not. I think I maybe did 150. That seems right. It looks right too. Okay. Of course I didn't save it. File, guides, guide layout. Okay. Save preset. We will call this paper. It's a bad name for it, but you know, here we are. So the question is, yeah, do we make it so the structure is disabled or destroyed? I kind of like disabled. I feel like the game's becoming more and more punishing, and while that is potentially a good thing, it might be too much. So let's try disabled, and then if it needs to be worse, we can make it worse. If a structure, or if a land is destroyed, I can't type, underneath a structure, then the structure is disabled until a land is placed under it again. Land is destroyed underneath a structure, then the structure is disabled until a land is placed under it again. I think that's simple enough and kind of works. I think maybe the way I can do this, or maybe the way I should do this, is separate these. This should be like here. And then this should be like here. And maybe these should be underneath. I don't know. Nah, it's kind of one statement, isn't it? Do I always have the... I'm trying to tell if I always have the graphic and then the... Because it almost looks like this should be the graphic and then the explanation below it, right? I think that looks cleaner. Do do do. Just from a looks standpoint. We'll make these two separate sections, so in case we need to like reorganize them. So structures will be placement, and then we'll have a folder which we'll call structures. I wish I could spell. Structures, destruction, as it were. I never like label my folders colors, but for this it's been so useful. Wait, where do I moved this text and oh, it's literally right here. What are you doing, Beats? Which means we need to draw a graphic here, really. But first, a stretch. Oh, okay. Yo, Maximus, what's up? Rules. Yep, it was about time. It had to be done. I mean, it's like the only thing we're really waiting on right now, and I have a fresh enough brain to do it, so. Thunder came up with a concept here, which I think is interesting. Rather than when you kill a land underneath a structure, the structure dying, instead it's just disabled, especially now that disabled is a term. So I love computers. With my dyslexia, I'm always erasing things. You should have seen my school papers. Yeah, I'm also dyslexic, so I'm right there with you. My papers were awful. But my problem is the way I compensated for having bad handwriting, or not bad spelling, is I just never corrected my bad handwriting. So I kind of use bad handwriting to disguise my ability to not be able to spell. You know, like to like have because like people like, oh, you have bad handwriting, huh? And it's like you know, it's less of like a bad thing than people thinking you can't spell, right? Because one, you're illiterate, and the other one, you're just sloppy, right? Love watching people invent. Brainstorm has always helped me with me. Just want to pay attention. Sorry, I can't read. Just want to pay things forward as I can. Yeah, no, I love being collaborative on this streaming and stuff like this. It feels like this game, well, it is like my game, and you know, technically me and Kyle worked on it for the game jam and stuff, and he works on it every now and then. It feels more like, it still feels like a collaborative effort, because we kind of work on it together on stream, so it doesn't really feel like it's just mine. It feels like it's something that we've all created together, you know? So I do love hearing different ideas and stuff like that. Feels good. You should see some of my papers. My writing looks like Arabic, but I don't know Arabic. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, like my handwriting. Huh. Oh, wait. I was gonna write, but I don't know if I'm actually gonna write. My handwriting's okay. If I try, like, hi. Yeah, it's not how. Are. There should be a space there. Are you? Question mark. You know, like my O's look bad and whatever. But that's me, like if I really try, I can look better. But a lot of time it's more like, hi, how are you? You know, it looks like that, right? So that was one of the ways I like compensated for being dyslexic, is I just made bad handwriting when it was a word that I couldn't spell. I don't know. I think it was more subconscious than it was like a conscious decision though, but you always comment on how nice my spelling can be now. Until they try to read the verbal mess I've created. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting to see how like different people compensate for dyslexia, and also like the different levels of like dyslexia people can have, because it's not just like you're dyslexic or you're not dyslexic. Like I feel like you can be more or less dyslexic, you know. And a lot of people who are dyslexic also have other whatever, learning disabilities or whatever you want to call it, which is really just, you know, a different way of thinking. But regardless, it's interesting to see, where was I going with this? Are dyslexic people considered neurodivergent? I believe so, yes. I don't know, that's kind of like, I haven't really... Well, I did start off with French. I think it got you there. Fair enough. Yeah, no, so like a lot of people usually, if you're dyslexic, you're also like, you have like dysgraphia or some other like, usually it's not just one thing. Usually it's like multiple. And when I got like tested originally in school, they're like, wow, you're just dyslexic, nothing else. It was kind of funny. She's like, I've never seen just a clear-cut case of just dyslexia. Not never, but like, it's not common, I guess. Or not as common, I guess. I don't know. Kind of interesting. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it seemed like when I got tested. This was like, oh god, like 15 years ago now, so I'm an old man. All right, I've just been rambling and not working on this. If you destroy a structure, if a land is destroyed underneath a structure, then the structure is disabled until the land is placed under it again. I guess we just draw a land and then a structure turned sideways, I think is the way to do it. I like seeing how people compensate for their neurodivergence. I find it interesting. Yeah, oh, 100%. I think it's very interesting too. Arguably, like, it wasn't something I used to be that interested in until like I started doing this stream, because I didn't realize how much I was compensating, honestly. Should you be able to place a land down disabled and not a land? That is a interesting idea. I don't know why you would do it, but no. I mean, I guess it's just a blocker, right? If you don't put anything on it. Disabling a card definitely is gonna have to be somewhere in this rulebook for sure, because now it's like a, because like, can you allocate units to a disabled card? If you need a hero down and have a land and structure you want to put down together, you can place the hero and structure and then place the land later. True. ChatGPT tells me neurodivergence is a broad term including conditions where a person's brain functions differently from what's considered typical. So yes, it would be. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, dyslexia is a neurodivergent thing. I never, like, neurodivergence is, like, a newer term that, like, I didn't associate with me because it wasn't, like, a term that was, given when I was found out I was dyslexic kind of deal. So it's not, like, something I think about too often. I don't think like, oh yeah, I'm neurodivergent, but also typically I don't like putting labels on things a lot of the time because sometimes it feels like, I don't know. That's just a whole like different broad topic of discussion. Let's stay on track. Or if you draw a handful of lands, you would normally die, but if you can place them down disabled, you could survive the turn. Not structures, not land structures. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I'm thinking that through. Do we like that idea? Do we like that? I'm trying to think as if that... It's easy enough to change once we get this placed, right? Because this whole page is going to be taken up by whatever. I think... I mean, generally, you're not going to draw a whole bunch of structures because there's just less of them in the thing. But I guess that is true. And preventing you from dying is... I like it. Could make cards that force disable cards to be active again instantly. And then you can force lands to be active. I'm going to assume you mean force structures again. Force structures to be active without lands. I'm gonna assume that's what you meant. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I think that's a good idea. The biggest appeal to me is not necessarily like the interactions between cards, where that is interesting, right? It's more the prolonging your death is the more interesting part. That pretty much means, though, you're always playing 2 cards per turn, regardless of what cards you draw. So it's kind of exasperating the... If it messes things up, you can just remove the play lands empty rule later. Yeah, I mean, this page is going to be dedicated to this now, so it's going to be easy enough to change. I'm just wondering if it's, like, worth changing now. If it's, like, kind of an experimental rule. Also trying to figure out how to illustrate it. Because I have, like, the illustration here. Now, with a structure and a land thing, do they attack a land that does not have a structure over first, or is there a land targeted first? Okay, so Thunder monster cards have attack order on them, picking between heroes, structures, and lands, in the order of the weakest or strongest. The other way around is written on the cards. Structure being, structure being on land doesn't matter, especially with the rule you suggested. Yeah, so yeah, just to show you. Yeah, so this is what an attack order looks like, right? So it has the first symbol is whether it's strongest or weakest. No. First symbol is strongest or weakest, right? This is weakest, this is strongest. And then the order of symbols is the order in which that they attack a thing. Just for a little extra clarification. Like you'll have, you know, Endling here attacks heroes first, this attacks structures first, and this one attacks lands first. So, but yeah, in theory it wouldn't matter. Technically, like we had to have a whole exemption from rules of whether it would attack first and blah blah blah, but yeah, this suggestion is good. I mean, before we had it just destroying the, we were thinking of it just destroying the card on top, but disabling feels better for sure. I guess this could be worded differently then. Rather than saying, if you have X lands, what land does it hit first? So it depends on, oh, I guess you don't understand units. So basically whenever cards are created, they have units, and then when the you have a unit phase and you gain number of units, units are like, think of it just like as a universal resource, or if it helps, think of it like a the number of people that are on the card, right? So if you have say you have 2 lands, right? If you have 2 lands and they have, you know, however, like, you know, one has 4, one has 3, and you have this Blight Mite who's attacking, he attacks the weakest one, right? So you'd attack the one with 3. Yeah, you're missing the whole units component, right? And if they're tied, it's player choice, right? So if they're both the same, then the player gets to choose which one gets attacked. So yeah, that's the whole how that works. Yeah. So I mean, probably the better way to explain this, rather than, it's more simplistic. I can explain it in 1 sentence instead of 2, right? My bad. I thought the land being taken out was a land destroyed thing. Wait. I thought the land being taken out was a land destroyed thing. Maybe I'm misreading that, but yeah, no worries. I mean, I'm more than happy to explain whatever. And your idea is still completely valid, so more than valid. It's great. I can combine this into one sentence rather than having it two, right? So it's placing structures. Structures may be placed without land, but they're disabled if there is no land underneath it, right? Not in that exact wording, but something along those lines, because before it would be you can't place a thing, but if land dies, then it's disabled. But instead it can be, you know, structures must have a land underneath it to be active. Wait, since you don't have structures, don't need structures. Holy crap, hold on. Wait, since you don't have structures need a land below them played as a rule, now you can just make the rule if structure doesn't have a land underneath it, instantly it's deactivated. Exactly. Yeah. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I said it poorly, but yeah, you get what I mean. Which makes like a lot of this invalid. What I need to do is get like I need to open a new page, and we're just gonna make it this. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna save it. We're gonna call this like unused rulebook elements. And then that way, if we take an, I do need that open still. If I remove this, I can just paste it into there, and then I can bring it back if I end up using it again. Here's one thing we need to talk about though. What happens, can you allocate resources or move resources off of a disabled card? Sorry, like units. Because that gets interesting, right? Because you can just create a structure as a meat shield now, essentially. I guess you probably could, right? It just disables the effect of the card. Yeah, I think you should be able to. Yeah, me too. I'm trying to think how I word this. Structures are structures meat. If you're a Lego, yes. I don't know if you've seen that meme before, but like Lego's houses are built of their own flesh. What's up, Bradley? Welcome in. We're discussing some major rule changes as per usual. I'm trying to decide what I think. I think it makes sense, and it makes the game easier on the player side. So essentially the idea, Bradley, if you want to know, rather than not being able to play structures at all without lands, they are disabled when you place them. And then if a land is under them, they become reactivated. I think you should be able to, but I don't know how that would affect unit generation effects. True. Will that defeat the point of disabling them, though? No, because they have their own effects, right? Disabling means they wouldn't be able, like, so they wouldn't be able to generate resources. They wouldn't be able to use their effects. What's the problem you're trying to solve? It's not really a... the problem, I guess the main overarching problem... Sorry, I'll get to the rest of this quick in a second. But yeah, the main overarching problem is adding new cards that attack lands, right? That's the trying to solve why deactivating buildings, right? Because Blightmite needs to be able, before it had like a block of text, right? Like it's got a whole block of text for it to be able to attack cards. So the idea is it should be able to attack lands, kill a land underneath a structure. And then the question is, you know, what happens to the structure? I was originally going to make it removes the card, right? It just kills the card. I think that's maybe too brutal. And Thunder suggested maybe just disabling the card, which is now a mechanic in the game. So I think that works well. But then Maximus suggested that maybe we can just place structures disabled onto the board. And we're kind of debating whether it makes sense that you can move units back and forth to different things, even if the card is disabled, like if you're trying to keep it alive. But I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. It's a pretty game-changing rule. So I'm not trying to take it too lightly. But flesh buildings and new players entered the game. True. Because if you had a few tundras, you might decide to play a bunch of structures and it could still be a little too powerful. I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess tundra would still generate units onto structures. I mean, tundra just might need to be nerfed in general, but only it's really hard to nerf, right? Because it's like the value of 1 to 2 is like exponent, or, you know, double the power. It's kind of a weird change. I'm trying to decide whether I just send it. It's kind of needs to be done because I think if we keep adding cards, right, the Blightmite can't be the only thing that attacks lands. I think it's probably, I guess, what's the simplest, like what's the least confusing to new players, right? And I think the rule being that you can place them, but they're deactivated unless there's a land under it, does seem maybe less confusing than you can't place them. I don't know, I'm thinking that through. Tundra Village is basically the strongest village combo, and I will not accept any compromise. True. That is very true. I guess, like, the biggest way to nerf Tundra is make it so it only works with the structure that's on top of it rather than it granting it to every structure. Like, have it give a larger, which is, I guess, similar to Forest, right? It's maybe a little too similar to Forest, but like slightly different, technically. But that's neither here nor there. The thing is, structures have like an inherent less value right now because they are... Action economy is so important that a lot of time you're not placing a structure because you need the hero and land. You need unit generation, so you need lands, and you need heroes. So it's honestly not the worst thing that you can place a structure without placing anything else. Which reminds me, if we are doing, you can place 2 of any card now, because that was the concept. Right? God, I'm getting overwhelmed by all these changes. I might just need to play the game. I might just need to, like, push everything to the beta again and just start playing the game a few times. Because right now this just feels like so conceptual that it's maybe too much. Because yeah, if you can play 2 of any card, we also need to revise Harvest, which is kind of sad because I like how Harvest works, but part of it also makes it seem like you might not need to adjust the rule if you can play structures at any time, even if... Well, no, you need... sorry. There's a lot of me just rambling. Let's see. Okay, I have a great Tundra idea. It gives units to every player card placed above it. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that is cool. I'll have to think that through. That's like a later issue, though. Current issue is this, right? I'm trying to think of all the subsequent things that it affects, right? Obviously, Tundra is a single card that can be balanced, but it's more like the whole overarching game balance as a whole. It's probably a healthier change for the game. And arguably, I don't think there's too often where you're going to just place a disabled structure, but probably something that's worth worth being able to do, right? Okay, so this whole thing just has to be reworded then. There's a bunch of things affected, even the idea of how the first player's turn goes might change. Yeah. It's pretty atypical, though, on a first turn. If you draw 5 cards to start, plus 2 cards for your card draw, and you have 7 cards, that you get 7 structures, right? Like, there's hardly a time where that's going to be a thing. So I'm not really too worried about that. I just think I'm more approaching it from like an ease of like explaining this to new players. Because this is just say when structures are placed, if there is no land underneath them, they are disabled. Right? That's like so much easier to say than like you can't place this structure, and if a land dies underneath it, then it's disabled, and then right, it's just such a simpler rule. And it makes it so this isn't a clarification thing, because one of the most confusing, I guess you still technically need this where it says you can place a hero, like saying this rule doesn't apply to heroes, I think is important. I think I might just need to stew on this idea for a bit, and then maybe try to get a play test done in the near future. The graphics still work, kinda, yeah. I'll probably add a graphic, but I need to think on this for a minute. It's like a big enough change. I think I need to think about it. It's also been like so long since I played the game. I don't even remember the last time we actually played. Because we've been like making cards and I don't know. I need to update the beta and then just like play the game. Um, because I could do this, but we've got like half an hour left on stream, and I'm like, does it make sense to come up with like a conclusive thing right this exact instant? Because I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, right? Beta's, yeah, been basically waiting for the beta, and the beta's just been getting larger and larger. Yeah, I don't want to add any more, but then we get to like this, and it's like, okay, well, we needed to do the rule in the first place, but it just needs some work anyway. Just need to add disable card to the left graphic to make it make sense. Yeah, no, it's true. I am probably overthinking it, but I think I just need to stew on it for a second. Yeah, the right side. I know what you mean. Yeah, this side. Wait. Yeah. So the right side says what that heroes can be placed anywhere. The left side says structures cannot be placed. I mean, I guess it's worth doing. Yeah, all right. We're just gonna go through with it. Worst case, we undo it. Yeah, just show the disabled card to show you have a hero over one. Yeah. I'm trying to think this through. Okay, let's quickly write what it should say, and then we'll come back to that. We're gonna go into here. So the new thing should basically say, I guess the player could think about whether or not they can place cards on top of disabled cards. Yes. So the thing is, that's the thing. You can place heroes on top of any cards. A hero doesn't even need to be placed on top of a structure. They can be placed anywhere in the top row, regardless of whether a structure is there or not. Yeah, updating the graphic here would make sense to have like a disabled card too, but it's kind of unnecessary because they can be placed regardless of. Show that in the graphic. Yeah, I should, and I will. Okay. Before we get to that, though, it's writing. Also, land is disabled. The structure on top of it is still active, right? Yeah, it would be, in theory. So you should show that in the left graphic. Okay, I'm thinking that through. Yeah, I feel like this might be a brain overload at this point. I'm trying to like, obviously it's pretty simple, right? It's mostly me trying to think of everything that all this can affect, right? So there's a lot in my brain right now. It's partly wondering. It seems like something that makes perfect sense and something that I should go through with. But it's also like, if I do all this, what does it break? You know, like you're just saying like, oh yeah, if a land is disabled, does a structure on top of it activate, right? Is that something players are going to be confused by? There's a bunch of small situational things that are affected. I get what you mean. Yeah, I guess you just have a disabled card here, and then you have the card. This graph, though, implies that you can't place the card, right? So this isn't clear. I could use the graphic, but it's just still not clear. Because in theory, you can place, that makes it so you can place a card anywhere. All right. What does the card say? Or what does the thing say? So a structure... Only is the X. Need to disable the bridge instead of an X. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, just like a grayed out or disable. Well, not even grayed out. Just have it sideways. Maybe even graying it out. It might make it more clear, but I don't know. Structures, maybe. I'm trying to think of the right way to word this. Structures must be placed on top of lands, otherwise they'll be disabled. Don't exactly love that, but I said must twice. Structures must be placed on top of lands, otherwise they will be disabled. That's not quite right, but I'm just trying to get the words out and then revise them. If the land is destroyed, the structure becomes disabled. That's redundant, but I'm trying to think how that works. Structures. There's a better way to say this. I'm trying to think. What did I say before? Structures must be placed above a land card. And if you play only you can only play one structure for each land you control. So that's no longer true. Sorry, just got a message and I was confused. It was like a password thing and I was like, yeah, wording this is a little weird. ChatGPT help. God, it just knows how to write words, you know? It's like it's a language model or something. Structures must be placed on top of a land to remain active. If a structure is not on a land or the land is destroyed, the land becomes disabled. How do we feel about that? It feels better than my incoherent sentence. To remain might not be the right word, but to be active? Yeah, remain's the only word I'm like. Structures must be placed on top of lands to... better than the verbal mess I was creating. Yeah, I feel it. Can... This is... Probably could just do this on my main screen, but I feel like we can do better than remain. Structures must be placed on lands to... I'm gonna say become active. Because when they're placed, it wouldn't remain, right? Well, I was typing a different style entirely. That being, if a structure does not have a land underneath it, it is instantly deactivated and reactivated when there's a land underneath it. Yeah. Structures must be placed on top of lands to become active. If a structure is not on a land or land is destroyed, the structure becomes disabled. Yeah, good enough for me. Structures may be placed over lands to be active. If not, land is destroyed. Oh, maybe, yeah. Structures must be placed on top. Must be placed on top of lands to become active. Yeah, if structures not placed on. The first sentence, I guess, is a little bit weird. The second one's good. If a structure is not on a land or a land is destroyed, then the structure becomes disabled. The first sentence is really the maybe, like, could use some more clarification. But structures may be placed over lands to be active. If not, the land is destroyed or becomes disabled. Yeah, I think this works. Structures must be placed. Yeah, I guess the problem is, maybe it's, because the word active is the problem I'm having. Does that fix the first sentence? Structures may be placed over lands to become active. Must to may. The must isn't... Because so you always have to place structures in the structure row, right? So the may I don't think is quite the right thing. It's but not always overland, right? That's correct. I think there's a better way to phrase this. I have something on the tip of my brain here. Part of my problem too is the word active, because it's the term we have is disabled and not active, right? So it should say something about being disabled, which is, I believe, what you say, but I'm just trying to structures may be placed over lands to be active. Maybe using the term active is fine, but abled, yeah, basically. The structure is not. I almost wonder if just the. I almost wonder if, like, structures may structure. It almost like structures must are placed in the like in the structure row if they do not have a land. Gotta love doing words on here. Active and disabled seems right. Yeah, I guess it does, but it still bothers me for some reason. This is being, like, seems nitpicky, but the trying to, like, clarity has been like 90% of this game, right? It's also getting close to the end of stream. My brain's kind of fried, but clarity has been like the biggest thing when working on this game. It's like trying to make sure everything is like as understandable to players as possible is super important. Structures must be placed on top of lands, otherwise they are disabled. And maybe that's where the term may might come in. Structures. Well, I mean, otherwise they're disabled is. Structures must be placed on top of lands, otherwise they're disabled. If the land is destroyed, the structure becomes disabled. That's kind of like wordy, but maybe more clear. Structures may be placed in any space, however, if there is no land underneath it, it is disabled. If the land is destroyed, the structure if the land underneath, this is actually closer to what Maximus was cooking originally. The structure is destroyed. Then it becomes disabled. When I say simple dice game, wow. When I did my simple dice game, when I played with people, I had to learn to explain, not an easy task, and this is much more than a page of rules for sure. If there is no land, it comes into play disabled. That's good, potentially good too, because I'm always right. Yes, Maximus is always right. Structures may be placed in a space, in any space, may be placed in any space, period. However, if there's no, I might use what you said there, Thunder, but give me a second to get through this one. Structures may be placed in any space, however, if there is no land underneath it, is disabled. If the land underneath the structure is destroyed, then it becomes disabled. If there are no lands, it comes into play disabled. I do like that. It comes into play disabled. Let's see what ChatGPT does to this. Just for the giggles. It's lagging for some reason. I think it's because I'm editing in my rulebook thing and it has like a bajillion pages and it gets structures can be placed in any space, but if there's no land beneath them, they enter play disabled. If the land beneath a structure is destroyed, the structure becomes disabled. It's a little bit nicer wording. It doesn't use it and whatever. Structures can be placed in any space, but if there is no land beneath them, they enter play disabled. I'm gonna say similarly, if a land beneath a structure is destroyed, the structure becomes disabled. Good. I think that's good enough. Did we lose all our viewership yet? No, actually. I love how this is a rulebook editing stream, which I've been avoiding because it's boring, but we have probably some of the highest viewership we've had in a while, so. Shrug. Hope to catch you again. Yeah. So like the way I do streaming is, rules. I guess it's kind of interesting, right? Like just like seeing the development process and like trying to figure out how everything should be worded and like the importance of how it's worded is kind of interesting. But yeah. No, but yeah, Thunder, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but it is at like staggered times just so like different people can join and that kind of stuff. So it's what is it? It's early on Mondays. Well, I guess it depends on your time zone, right? But for me, it's early Mondays, late or it's midday Wednesdays and late Fridays. Like I start at 9:30 EST on Monday. I start at 1 p.m. EST on Wednesdays and 7 p.m. EST on Fridays. But yeah. West Coast, middle of British Columbia. Yeah. That's the nice part about the Discord server is I think I have my stream schedule on there and it has the Discord like lets you do the timestamp thing, which is really nice, which lets you see like what time it actually is in your time zone. Like I could show you this, but it shows what my times are, right? Not what your time zone is, but that is the one nice part about that. It's a cool feature they have in Discord. I guess we're getting pretty close to the end. I could put this in here, but I don't really have time to like yeah, I guess this all just becomes one thing rather than being multiple statements, right? And then we just have to rework the graphics. I think my brain's too, like, bamboozled to really do too much more. Like, I'm not, like, completely brain fried. I probably could keep working, but at the same time, I'm like, I just got off of working on my devlog for the thing, so it might just be worth not overdoing it because I've already overdone it for multiple days in a row. Let's refresh and see if they've posted their video yet. I'm guessing not. Yeah, I feel like I'd get some sort of notification when they do, but it's exciting to know that's coming out soon. Yeah, I think we'll wrap up here. Let me save everything. I appreciate you guys all joining me here. My voice just like cracked when I said that. We'll come back to that. I guess I don't need to like close everything now. Yeah, everyone keep an eye out on this channel. I'll be posting on Discord when the video comes out, but in theory, I think comes out in the next few days. Between like today or tomorrow, or basically once all the devs send in their videos, which they kind of asked us to send them in earlier. So I'll have a video on here. In theory, it's gonna get a bunch of views. Hopefully it gets a bunch of views. So we'll see. I'm excited to see if, I mean, I guess, you know, not all of them get like, I type the YouTube channel and controversy comes up. That's because I guarantee you what it is that people get like annoyed with the pass the game challenges. The idea is like they make a game without communicating, right? So only 581,000 subs. Well, part of it is like you see this one, right? It's like, or I don't know, this one here, it only has I say only, but it's got like 76,000 views, which is like much less than their subscriber count, which is why subscriber count doesn't really matter. But yeah, anyway, they're pass the game challenges get a lot of like people up in arms because someone will take the game and they'll like, you know, they work on the game without communicating, right? So sometimes the game is passed to a dev and the dev's like, I don't like this, I'm getting rid of this and cutting this out, and doing this, and like from a viewer's perspective, they just completely ruined the game that everyone else was working on. And that happens pretty often. Or they add something that just ruins the game, or something along those lines. And that's why I think a lot of people get like up in arms about some of it. But it's really like kind of the nature of the process, I guess, right? Like if you don't know what this person's thinking when they first get it. These viewers on other video, or these views on other videos are just a couple of hundred. Hope you crush them. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the last one that was pretty dang similar got 500,000, and then the other engine battle one got 200,000 about. Which this one's going to be more similar to the one that I did, right? The one here. But, well, at least those mad people are helping with channel engagement. Yeah, for sure. And, like, I get it. Like, I've felt the same things while watching some of them. Like, oh, why did they change that? That was, like, such a good change, or whatever, that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like, whatever. If they really like the idea, you could just make your own game and run with it. It's not like any other, I don't know. Some people continue to work on some of them afterward, but if that really bothers you so much, like, oh, the game was really cool before you completely changed it. It's like, well, ideas are free, Welcome to steal any ideas you want. You heard me. Plagiarize. That's what I'm trying to tell everyone to do. No, but yeah, keep an eye out. I'll post on my Discord, and one of them has 1.2 million views. Yeah, honestly, a good few of them have millions of views. Typically it's around 500,000, but yeah, this one has 1.2. Yeah, all the 100 dev ones have a good number of them, right? 2.2 here, 1.3, 1.8. So it's a good opportunity. I mean, even if it gets 100,000 views and 1% of people see it, that's still a good number of views. Yeah, I mean, that's why, yeah, 2.2, yeah, exactly. That is why I wanted to, when they offered, I was like, heck yeah, I definitely want to be part of this, because that's a good amount of publicity, right? So yeah, I'll post it on my Discord. I'll probably also share on YouTube here. I'll do one of the community posts and share it as well once it comes out. So hopefully you'll see it one of those 3 ways, but they're cool videos. They're fun to watch. As a social experiment, if nothing else, So yeah, I'll be doing that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you're hanging out, you're not part of the Discord server already, I'd recommend checking that out, especially if you want to play Armies Against Entropy. I'll try to, there's going to be probably a beta update soon, but which you technically have to pay for on Patreon if you want it. But I'll probably, once this update is done, once I'm done with the rule book, I'll be pushing it to live, and then we can all play it. Maybe I'll try to set up some playtesting sessions again, potentially. I tried doing it before, but we just didn't have a big enough community yet. So hopefully that continues to expand and all that kind of thing. At some point, you can do a Kickstarter for a physical game. That would be ideal, but the problem is, I need a following to do that, right? I couldn't just throw it out there and then... I mean, technically, you can get some publicity from Kickstarter, right? Be like, oh, here's a Kickstarter, and then people see the project and go, hey, this is really cool. But typically, you want some sort of following before you throw it on Kickstarter. So, that's the goal of the whole YouTube channel and all that, right? So So as I build up a following, yeah. There's a potential to make it a digital game as well. I've thought about that a bit. You know, taking it and doing that. Obviously, I need to learn coding and all that kind of stuff. So, but the game will be designed, so it's like relatively quote unquote easy to do, right? It's just a matter of making the game because like a lot of the terms and all that kind of stuff are defined already, but kind of already making a digital though. Yeah, the idea would be like kind of put it more of like a like Slay the Spire or Inscription style of game, right? Where it has like a maybe a roguelike playthrough sort of element, but same sort of style, right? Where you kind of go through and you gain cards as you go from level to level, and then you can you know, do that. So yeah, it's on Tabletop Simulator as is, but might be able to add some more like lore and that kind of stuff and visuals and that kind of thing to the game. So I kind of want to do like a theatrical trailer for the game kind of deal. Like a digital game where each stage is like a single playthrough AE, but there's much larger meta game too. Exactly. Yeah, like one of the things I want to do, like I could also have like, you know, cinematics and stuff like that, which I think would be fun. I'll show you guys this. Here, this will be a teaser for the Blackthorn prod video coming out. Kind of wish that they just called it production instead of prod. For some reason that throws me off. I made, so this is for the other game I made, the cowboy western one, because I made it for their video, but I did do a few cool graphics. This is spoiler alert. So I made these motion graphics for the video. I know there's no sound, but so I did those. I think it'd be cool to do something similar to that for like Armies Against Entropy and have like a narration and stuff like that. I think would be kind of cool. But yeah. Oh, you spoil us rotten pizza creations. I do. I spoil you. But yeah, that's I want to do stuff like that for armies as well. I haven't really just taken the time to do it, but I mean I do a lot of animations as is, right? Like in my videos and stuff, so I may as well do like a theatrical thing. The problem is, I say theatrical, but you know what I mean, like a cinematic, I guess is trailer is the right word. Let me just go to my face at this point. But yeah, I would like to do something like that. The problem is, like, if the game doesn't have any traction, no one's gonna watch that, and I'll like waste, you know, a month making it. But you know, if it's a minute long, I probably could do it. I kind of like cranked out the freaking like the 1 minute devlog for the 1 hour game that we did for this project. So I probably could do it somewhat quickly. So maybe I'll do that after the next video, or maybe like 1 or 2 more, but we'll see. Anyway, let's as per usual, I'm gonna find someone on Twitch to raid. If you want to come over and join on Twitch to raid someone, feel free. I just like the community they have when you try to find people on Twitch there. It's just like raiding is such a good mechanic, you know? And I wish YouTube was really more implemented for it. Honestly, you should maybe make it just keep in your pocket so you can release it when another collab like Black and Proud is happening. Yeah, that could be cool, right? Like once it comes out, you just yeah. I mean, even if I release it, the thing is, like, even if I release stuff and nothing happens, like, it could still gain traction afterward, right? Like my what is it called? The like stat system video that I did like forever ago. The one that's like I'll show you. Because we're kind of just yapping at this point. The what makes a good stat system video, it got maybe let's see here. Analytics. Full display. It got on release, you know, about 100 views. Salutations. It got on release about 100 views, right? And since then, it has gotten, especially, I don't know when the point happened, but it just started gaining a ton of views. And now it's at like 630 days later, it's at 3,700 views. You can see this curve, right? Like it's parabolically increasing. I don't know if that's the right term, but I'm not a math guy. But it does look like a parabola. So no. But yeah, you can see how it's like exponentially increasing in number of views. Right? So kind of interesting, right? So even just whole 10 buckaroonies, yeah. I think actually one of my highest performing video, or like monetarily performing videos. It would have been my other one, my like one with 65,000 views, but actually I can just leave this here. But I wasn't monetized then, so anyway. Let's see here. Who do we want to raid? What are we feeling? Game development? Are we feeling art? Are we feeling trying to find more card game people, which is always a task? We will check the TCG category just real quick, and then we'll just pick one. I don't know if we do game dev or we do art, but I always feel lost with game dev because they're just like always doing coding, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Although the last guy, he was kind of just talking about like how the game worked, and that was more interesting to me, I guess. Sorry, I thought I knew someone for a second. I'm like, oh wait, I know that guy, but no. Actually, I guess we can see if is anyone we're following on? A few people, but not necessarily. We'll wait on that. Enter learn to code meme. I'm trying to see if there's anyone. Knowing coding looks intimidating, but just knowing a little makes it a lot less complex. Yeah, honestly, just knowing logic really helps. No coding, like, helps you to, like, just doing like spreadsheet logic, like if then statements that really kind of explains like the good majority of it, right? I'm looking at art for half a second, and then if that's nothing, then we'll go. We're yapping in the meantime anyway. We're just talking. We're just hanging. Yeah, probably just doing some whatchamajiggies. We'll just pick a random coder guy. Yeah. Let's actually, you know what? Let's just, we could raid this one guy again. Or do we do someone new? Whatchamajiggies? There's the guy who was doing the I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I've lost my brain. I'm sorry. There was the guy who was doing that, like, actually, I don't even know if you were here for that, Maximus. Maybe you were. The guy who was doing that, like, you weren't here. Whatever. You know, we're just gonna raid him. I don't feel like figuring too much more out, so we're gonna join him again. He was cool. All right. He's doing like I think it's like a roguelike sort of like platformer-esque game. Like maybe a Metroidvania kind of deal. I don't know. We're gonna raid him. Start raid. Just Corvino, I believe is his name. So there we go. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining me. I will see you Wednesday. I wasn't there, yeah. Okay, well, we're raiding them now. I will see you over there. Everyone, thank you for joining me. I'll see you on Wednesday, and we will work on more rulebook stuff. All right, fire in the hole.
Create beats. How you doing? Welcome in.